The forbidden endeavor. Captain Ilara Vance stood motionless before the vast observation window of Lunar Command, her reflection overlaying the stars beyond. Earth hung in the darkness, partially obscured by billowing clouds that concealed the devastation below. 3 months since the Krell Armada had appeared at the edge of the solar system. 3 months of relentless assault that had reduced humanity's greatest cities to ash. Captain Vance, Admiral Zhou's voice broke the silence. He approached with a datapad clutched tightly in his weathered hands. Our outer defenses at Jupiter have fallen. The remaining fleet has retreated to Mars orbital. Ilara nodded, unsurprised. The Krell ships outmatched humanity's best vessels in every category: speed, firepower, defense. Each engagement ended the same way, with human casualties and strategic retreat. "How much time?" she asked. 48 hours before they reach Earth's orbit, maybe less. The Admiral's voice betrayed exhaustion. Like everyone else in the command structure, he hadn't slept properly in weeks. Ilara turned to face him. And the evacuation. 17% of the population housed in underground shelters. The colony ships can only take another 3% to the outer settlements. His shoulders slumped. It's not enough. No, Ilara agreed. It's not. The Admiral glanced around to ensure they were alone before activating his datapad. A holographic projection materialized between them, a ship unlike any in the human fleet. Its design seemed almost predatory, with sharp angles and asymmetrical sections that somehow flowed together into a cohesive whole. "Project Nemesis," he said quietly. "Our last option." Ilara studied the projection with narrowed eyes. "This doesn't match any approved blueprint in the fleet registry, because it was never approved." The Admiral's voice dropped further. "Every aspect of this vessel violates the Arcturus Treaty we signed with the Galactic Concord 50 years ago. The treaty that allowed humanity to join interstellar society." She understood immediately. This is why the Krell attacked us. They discovered we were building this. "No," Zhao shook his head. "This project has remained completely dark, hidden even from most of our government. The Krell attacked because they've always viewed us as a potential threat. We're too adaptable, too unpredictable. Our rapid technological advancement frightens them." Ilara circled the hologram, examining the ship from all angles. "What makes it special?" "Everything." A hint of pride crept into the Admiral's voice. "Quantum singularity drive, consciousness-level AI integration, matter-phase weaponry, dimensional shielding. Technology decades beyond what we're supposed to possess. Technology the Concorde specifically forbade. If the Concorde discovers we've built this, it won't matter if we're all dead." Zhao cut her off. "This ship represents humanity's greatest achievement and our greatest transgression. But right now, it's the only thing that might save us." Ilara understood then why she had been summoned. "You want me to captain it. You're the best tactical mind we have, and more importantly, you understand what's at stake. The Nemesis can't just win battles. It needs to win the war before the Concorde realizes what we've done." 12 hours later, Ilara stood in a cavernous hangar buried deep beneath the lunar surface. Before her loomed the Nemesis, even more impressive in reality than in hologram. Its hull was a deep, light-absorbing black that seemed to create a void against the hangar's industrial lighting. "Quite a sight, isn't she?" A lanky man in rumpled clothing approached, extending his hand. "Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, lead engineer. I spent the last 7 years designing her systems." Ilara shook his hand, noting the dark circles under his eyes. "Is she ready?" "As ready as she'll ever be. We've run simulations, but she's never been in actual combat." He gestured for her to follow him toward the boarding ramp. "I've reviewed the crew manifest," Ilara said as they walked. 17 people to run a ship this size." Sanjay grinned. "That's because Nemesis runs herself, mostly. You'll understand when you meet Athena." The interior corridors were surprisingly spacious, with flowing lines that contradicted the angular exterior. The bridge was a hemisphere with workstations arranged in concentric circles around a central command chair. As Ilara entered, the lighting adjusted automatically, and a soft voice emanated from everywhere at once. "Welcome aboard, Captain Vance. I am Athena, the integrated consciousness of the Nemesis." Ilara glanced at Sanjay, who nodded encouragingly. Athena is quantum-based artificial intelligence. She's not programmed. She learns, adapts, feels. She's as alive as you or me, just differently. "Another treaty violation," Ilara noted. "The biggest one," Sanjay agreed. Sentient AI is perhaps the most forbidden technology in Concord space. Over the next day, Ilara met her small crew. Each had been selected not just for expertise, but for a specific mindset, the willingness to operate beyond legal boundaries for humanity's survival. There was Maya Chen, a weapons specialist who had been discharged from the fleet for excessive force. Nikolay Volkov, a navigation prodigy whose experimental FTL calculations had been deemed too risky. Dr. Imani Okafor, a xenobiologist with controversial theories about Krell physiology, and others with similar backgrounds. Brilliant outcasts whose ideas had been too dangerous or radical for conventional military thinking. As Ilara sat in the command chair for the first time, running her hands over the neural interface controls, the gravity of the situation settled fully upon her shoulders. In taking this command, she was violating everything she had sworn to uphold as a fleet officer. Yet the alternative was extinction. "Athena," she said, "how long until the Nemesis is ready to launch?" "All systems are operational, Captain. We can depart whenever you give the order." Ilara addressed the bridge crew. "I won't pretend this mission is anything other than what it is, an act of desperation. We're taking technology we barely understand against an enemy that outnumbers us thousands to one. If we succeed, we save humanity, but likely become pariahs in galactic society. If we fail..." She left the sentence unfinished. Everyone knew the stakes. "Final pre-flight checks complete," Nikolay reported from navigation. "Weapon systems online and calibrated," Maya added. Dr. Capper approached the command chair. "Captain, there's something you should know about the ship's primary weapon system. The phase cannon doesn't just destroy enemy vessels, it erases them from reality. It's the most destructive technology ever created, and the reason the Concorde banned quantum research. Use it only as a last resort." Ilara nodded grimly. "Noted. Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The massive hangar doors above them began to part, revealing the star-filled void of space. "Athena, initiate launch sequence." "Launch sequence initiated, Captain. Breaking lunar gravity in 3, 2, 1. The Nemesis rose silently, impossibly graceful for its size. As it cleared the lunar surface, Ilara gave the order that would change humanity's fate forever. "Set course for the Mars orbital perimeter. We have a date with the Krell advance fleet." The quantum singularity drive engaged, and space itself seemed to bend around them. The Nemesis disappeared from lunar sensors, leaving behind only speculation and hope that humanity's forbidden gambit would succeed. Defiance of the stars. The void between Mars and Jupiter stretched before the Nemesis like an endless canvas of darkness, punctuated by distant stars. Captain Ilara Vance studied the tactical display, where dozens of red markers represented the advancing Krell fleet. The remnants of humanity's Mars Defense Force, just 7 ships, were retreating toward the red planet, pursued by the alien armada. "They'll be overrun before they reach the safety of the orbital defenses," Lieutenant Maya Chen observed from the weapons station. Ilara nodded. "Athena, time to intercept if we engage at maximum speed." 17 minutes, 14 seconds, Captain, the AI's voice replied. "However, I must note that engaging now will reveal our presence to the entire Krell fleet. The element of surprise is our greatest advantage," Nikolay added from navigation. "Once they know we exist, they'll adapt their tactics." Ilara knew they were right, but she couldn't watch as more human ships were destroyed. These weren't just vessels. They were the last organized military resistance before Earth. We need to test our capabilities in actual combat, she decided. And those ships carry thousands of personnel who could aid Earth's defense. Athena, engage stealth protocols and plot an intercept course for the 3 Krell pursuers. We'll leave the main fleet untouched for now. Understood, Captain. Dimensional shielding active. We are now invisible to conventional sensors. The Nemesis accelerated with impossible speed, the stars blurring around them. There was no sensation of movement inside the ship, another miracle of the forbidden technology that powered it. Weapon systems charge, Maya reported. Matter phase cannons ready. Approaching intercept point, Nikolai announced. 30 seconds. Ilara tightened her grip on the command chair. Target the trailing Krell vessel. Minimal power to avoid overkill. Target locked. Maya confirmed. Fire. A pulse of energy, not light, not matter, but something between both, lanced from the Nemesis. It struck the Krell ship, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like reality itself was glitching, the alien vessel began to dissolve. Not exploding, not burning, but simply ceasing to exist section by section. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Target. Eliminated, Maya finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. The remaining 2 Krell ships began evasive maneuvers, their sensors obviously detecting that something had happened, but unable to identify the Nemesis. They're broadcasting an alert signal, Communications Officer Riza Delir reported. Encrypted, but Athena is translating. Unknown weapon, spatial anomaly, immediate assistance. Athena translated in real time. They believe they've encountered a natural phenomenon, not an attack. Ilara leaned forward. Target the second vessel. Same power level. The second shot yielded identical results. The Krell ship simply faded from existence. The third vessel began accelerating away at maximum speed. Should we pursue? Nikolai asked. Ilara considered for a moment. No. Let it run. Prioritize the rescue of our ships. She opened a channel to the retreating human vessels. Mars Defense Force, this is Captain Ilara Vance of the Avenger. She decided in that moment not to reveal the ship's true name. We've eliminated your pursuers. Continue to Mars orbital. After a moment of stunned silence, a response came through. Avenger, this is Colonel Way of the Dauntless. We thank you for the assistance. But what ship are you? You're not on any fleet registry. We're a prototype vessel. Ilara replied simply. Get your people to safety, Colonel. We'll handle the Krell from here. As the human ships continued their retreat, Dr. Imani Okafor approached the command chair, her expression troubled. Captain, I've been analyzing the debris, or rather, the lack of debris, from the Krell ships. The phase cannon didn't just destroy them. It removed them from our dimensional plane entirely. Meaning what, exactly? Ilara asked. Meaning they still exist somewhere. We didn't kill them. We displaced them. And I have no idea where they went or if they can return. Before Ilara could process this disturbing information, Riza called out from communications. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the main Krell fleet. They're altering course, heading directly for us at maximum speed. How? They shouldn't be able to detect us through the dimensional shielding, Dr. Kapper said, hurrying to a nearby console. They can't see us, Athena interjected, but they registered the dimensional disturbances caused by the phase cannon. They're not targeting us specifically. They're investigating the anomaly. Ilara made a swift decision. Nikolai, set course for the asteroid belt. We'll use it for cover while we formulate a new strategy. She turned to Dr. Okafor. I need to know everything about these weapons. If we're not killing the Krell, but sending them somewhere else, what are the implications? As the Nemesis sped toward the asteroid belt, a new communication suddenly broke through on all channels. It wasn't from the Krell, but from an entirely different source. Attention, unidentified human vessel. This is Arbiter Thrax of the Galactic Concord Enforcement Division. We have detected unauthorized quantum-level technology deployment in this system. Cease all operations immediately or face Concord sanctions. The bridge crew exchanged alarmed glances. The Concord wasn't supposed to have ships anywhere near the Sol system. They must have been monitoring the Krell invasion, Sanjay theorized, watching to see if we would break the treaties in our defense. And we just confirmed their suspicions, Ilara said grimly. She opened a channel. Arbiter Thrax, this is Captain Vance. We are currently defending against an unprovoked Krell invasion. The Concord's assistance would be appreciated, but we will not stand down while our homeworld is threatened. The Krell invasion force was sanctioned by the Concord High Council, came the shocking reply. Humanity has been deemed too dangerous to allow continued technological advancement. Your development of quantum technologies, despite treaty prohibitions, has confirmed this assessment. The revelation hit Ilara like a physical blow. The Concord authorized the Krell to exterminate us, because we might develop technology they feared. Your current vessel is proof that these fears were well-founded, Thrax continued. Stand down and prepare for boarding. The technology will be confiscated, and those responsible will face judgment. Ilara cut the communication and turned to her crew. The Concord betrayed us. They sanctioned genocide rather than allow us to advance. Her mind raced through the implications. Athena, how many Concord vessels are present? One Arbiter-class enforcement vessel, Captain. It appears to be alone. And the Krell fleet? Still approaching our last known position. Estimated time to asteroid belt, 37 minutes. Ilara stood from her command chair, her decision made. We're not fighting just for survival now. We're fighting for our right to exist without constraints imposed by those who fear us. She turned to Maya. Target the Concord vessel with the phase cannon. Maya hesitated momentarily before nodding. Target locked. Fire. The energy pulse struck the Concord ship, causing it to begin the same dissolution process as the Krell vessels. Open a channel to all Krell ships, Ilara ordered. When the connection was established, she spoke with calm determination. This is Captain Ilara Vance of the Earth vessel Nemesis. You have witnessed what happened to your advance ships, and now to the Concord Arbiter. This is your only warning. Leave the Sol system immediately, or suffer the same fate. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, gradually, the Krell fleet began to change course, moving away from both Earth and the Nemesis. They're retreating, Nikolai confirmed, disbelief in his voice. For now, Ilara cautioned. But this isn't over. The Concord won't stop with one ship, and the Krell won't forgive this humiliation. She turned to Dr. Copper. How quickly can we replicate this technology? Not just for one ship, but for a fleet. Sanjay considered. With Athena's help, and with the resources of the entire Earth, 6 months, maybe less. Then that's our deadline. Ilara looked around at her crew, seeing the weight of their new reality settling upon them. Humanity isn't just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for our independence from a Concord that would rather see us extinct than equal. As the Nemesis turned back toward Earth, Athena's voice spoke privately to Ilara through her neural link. Captain, I've been analyzing the dimensional readings from the phase cannon effects. The displaced matter isn't destroyed. It's transferred to a parallel dimension that exists alongside our own. What does that mean for us? Ilara asked. It means that every ship we erase creates a tear in the dimensional fabric, a door that potentially works both ways. We may be creating the very means by which something far worse than the Krell could enter our universe. Ilara absorbed this troubling information as Earth grew larger in the view screen. They had won the first battle using technology they barely understood, violating treaties to save their species. Now they faced a choice: continue down this forbidden path with all its unknown consequences, or surrender to a galactic community that had sanctioned their extinction. Take us home, Athena, she said finally. We have a war to prepare for. a war for humanity's right to determine its own destiny among the stars. As the Nemesis approached Earth orbit, its quantum singularity core pulsing with power that defied the laws of physics as understood by most species, Ilara knew that humanity had crossed a line from which there was no return. They had become what the Concord had always feared, a species willing to break any rule, violate any treaty, and challenge any authority in their relentless drive to survive and evolve. For better or worse, humanity's ultimate warship had just rewritten the galactic order.